Today, our topic of discussion will be asthma. We will discuss MCQs regarding asthma so that we have clear concept that how questions appear in exams regarding asthma. So this is part 1 of topic wise selected high yield MCQs, and there will be 13 MCQs with explanation, and there will be some videos in which there will be practice and timed MCQs for you to solve. Let's begin. Which of the following is not given in an acute attack of asthma? So the question states that which is not given in an acute attack of asthma. So the options are given. So the choice which we do not use is sodium cromolyn, because asthma is a disease of diffuse airway inflammation caused by a variety of triggering stimuli resulting in partially or completely reversible bronchoconstriction. So there will be symptoms like dyspnea, chest tightness or wheezing. So the diagnosis is based on history, physical examination and pulmonary function tests. So the treatment which involves controlling triggering factors and drug therapy, most commonly with inhaled beta agonists. So beta agonist albuterol we give there, and inhaled corticosteroids, so prednisolone, anticholinergic medications like ipratropium bromide provide benefit in combination with beta agonists in those with moderate or severe symptoms. So the option B, sodium cromolyn, is used more in the prophylaxis of asthma, but we don't use it in the acute attack. So the other options, ipratropium bromide, oxygen, albuterol and prednisone, we use in the acute attack. So the next question is, a 45-year-old female with asthma uses her albuterol Ventolin inhaler once or twice a week to relieve wheezing. Means she has symptoms once or twice a week. So the question states, what daily medication should now be added? So the correct option here will be no daily medication is required, because this patient has mild intermittent asthma and she requires no daily medication, because the current guidelines recommend the following treatments based on asthma classification. So mild intermittent asthma is the asthma in which there are symptoms 2 days per week or less, and the nighttime symptoms will be 2 nights or less per month. In whole month the patient will have 2 nights or less, or in a week only 2 days. So in this case no daily medication will be needed. And in mild persistent asthma there will be symptoms more than 2 days per week but less than 1 time per day, and the nighttime symptoms will be more than 2 nights per month. So in this case we will give daily low dose inhaled corticosteroids. And if the patient have moderate persistent asthma symptoms, means she will have symptoms every day, nighttime more than once weekly. Now more than once weekly in nighttime and symptoms every day, then it will be moderate persistent asthma. So we need daily low to medium dose inhaled corticosteroids with long acting beta 2 agonist. And if the patient has severe persistent asthma, it means she has symptoms continual during the day and frequently at night, so we need daily high dose inhaled corticosteroids and long acting beta 2 agonists. So in this case the patient has once or twice a week she use Ventolin inhaler, means he has mild intermittent asthma, so no daily medication is required. Question number 3. Which one of the following is most consistent with the diagnosis of asthma? Reduced FEV1 and reduced FEV1 to FVC ratio. Yeah, this is the correct answer, because the asthma is typically associated with an obstructive impairment that is reversible with short-acting bronchodilators. So a reduced FEV1 and decreased FEV1 to FVC ratio indicates the airflow obstruction. So that's why we will select here in asthma because it's an obstructive disease. The other options with a reduced FVC and normal FEV1 to FVC ratio, or a reduced FEVC and increased FEV1 to FVC ratio, it is consistent with a restrictive pattern. But asthma is an obstructive and reversible disease, so here reduced FEV1 and reduced FEV1 to FVC ratio is the correct answer. Question number 4. A 34-year-old black female has had frequent asthma exacerbations for the past several months. She uses her albuterol inhaler 4 times per week with a good response. So now this patient uses the inhaler 4 times per week. Which of the following is preferred for the prevention of future asthma exacerbation? So we just discussed that if she is having symptoms more than 2 times per day in a week, so it will be mild persistent asthma. It will be mild persistent asthma. So in the mild persistent asthma, we need low dose inhaled corticosteroid. If it will be less than 2 times per day in a week, so it will be mild intermittent and we need no medication. But now it is 4 times per week, so we need inhaled corticosteroids. Question number 5. A 35-year-old male presents with cough, breathlessness, wheeze and tightness in the chest. Now the patient has cough, breathlessness, wheeze and tightness in the chest. He states that all it has started after 15 minutes of afternoon jogging. What is the most likely diagnosis of this condition? Emphysema, allergies, asthma, bronchitis or unstable angina. So here the diagnosis will be asthma, because asthma is characterized by cough, breathlessness, wheezing and tightness of the chest. Since the patient suffer from the symptoms after exercise, it is known as exercise induced asthma. So the other options, emphysema, why it cannot be fit here? Because it is one of the chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases marked by the lysis of the alveoli, resulting in formation of sac-like structures. And in allergies, it presents differently, where teary eyes, runny nose, usually not with sudden onset. In bronchitis, it is unlikely due to presentation because not exercise induced. Bronchitis is not exercise induced, usually accompanied by fever and sore throat. And the close option here will be unstable angina, usually occurs at rest or with minimal exercise, but it does not present with cough or wheezing. So the option fit here with cough, wheeze, breathlessness, tightness in the chest is asthma. So next question, 25-year-old female with a past history of asthma presents to the emergency department with an asthma exacerbation. Treatment with inhaled bronchodilator and ipratropium does not lead to significant improvement. BP 100 by 56, pulse 92 beats per minute, oxygen saturation 89 per second. Chest findings are diffuse bilateral inspiratory wheezes with mild intercostal retractions. Means the patient has the acute attack of asthma. Which of the following should be considered in this acute management of this patient? So here the answer will be systemic corticosteroids. So hospital management of acute exacerbations of asthma should include inhaled short-acting bronchodilators in all patients, but systemic corticosteroids are recommended for all patients admitted to the hospital, and the efficacy of oral prednisone and the intravenous methylprednisolone is shown to be equivalent. So the oxygen should also be considered in most patients, and antibiotics are not recommended in the treatment of asthma exacerbation unless there is a comorbid infection. An inhaled ipratropium is recommended for treatment in the emergency department but not in the hospital. Chest physical therapy and methylxanthines are not recommended in the treatment of acute asthma exacerbations. So, systemic corticosteroids is the best answer over here. Now, question number 7. A 45-year-old female consulted his physician for shortness of breath, accompanied by wheeze, for almost 10 months. He responded well to bronchodilators. He had an exacerbation of the similar symptoms almost 3 weeks later, which responded to a course of steroid. After this episode, he went on a vacation for a week and the symptoms vanished just to return once he was back to work. So, when the patient went on a vacation, his symptoms vanished, but when he came back to work, so the symptoms again happened. He never kept any pets and he is known smoker and has no history of allergy. He worked as a soldier for a truck manufacturing company for last 12 months. The patient was not on any regular medication. So the patient is not on any regular medication and he has no history of allergy. He has no pets. So what is the most likely diagnosis in this patient? The most likely diagnosis is occupational asthma because this patient had complained of shortness of breath and wheeze for the last 10 months, starting at the age of almost 44 years, that responded to bronchodilators and a short course of steroid. This is consistent with the reversibility of the condition, and the only reversible condition among the options is asthma. Although we have many characteristics of this patient suggest the diagnosis of the adult onset asthma. However, the relationship of the symptoms with the time he worked as a soldier for a truck manufacturing company tilts the diagnosis more towards occupational asthma. Moreover, his symptoms also resolved while he was on vacation and reoccurred once he probably went back to his work. So, occupational asthma is diagnosed by the similar way as a type of asthma by demonstrating improvement in the peak expiratory flow rate PEFR and the lung volume once the patient is away from the work. An increase in PEFR of 20% or increase in FEV1 by 15% when the allergen is withdrawn confirms the diagnosis. So occupational asthma is just like any other type of asthma which occurs due to exposure of large molecular weight occupational allergens that induce bronchospasm by hypersensitivity immune reaction, and it is managed by removing the allergen from the patient's surrounding. Now question number 8. An anxious 40-year-old patient undergo long-term therapy for bronchial asthma is admitted to the emergency department because of status asthmaticus. Therapy should include which one of the following? So he has come in emergency department with acute exacerbation. So hydration, inhaled beta 2 agonist and parenteral corticosteroids will be given to this patient because the most severe form of asthma is called status asthmaticus. In this condition, the lungs are no longer available to provide the body with adequate oxygen or adequately remove CO2. Without oxygen, many organs begin to malfunction. The buildup of carbon dioxide leads to acidosis, an acidic state of the blood that affects the function of almost every organ. Blood pressure may fall to low levels. The airways are so narrowed that it is difficult to move air in and out of the lungs. So the patients who have status asthmaticus receive a beta adrenergic agonist and corticosteroids. Status asthmaticus may also require intubation and ventilatory support. Now, question number 9. When treating acute adult asthma in emergency department, using a metered dose inhaler MDI with spacer has been shown to result in which one of the following as compared to a nebulizer? So MDI basically shortens the stay in the emergency department because compared to nebulizers, MDIs with spacers have been shown to lower pulse rates provide a greater improvement in peak flow rate, lead to a greater improvement in arterial blood gases, and decrease required albuterol doses. They have also been shown to lower costs, shorten emergency department stays, and significantly lower the relapse rates at 2 and 3 weeks compared to nebulizer. But there is no difference in hospital admission rates. So the correct answer is shorter stays in emergency department. Now question number 10. An asthmatic patient present to emergency with dyspnea. He states he used his inhaled salbutamol but with no improvement. Physical exam showed dyspnea with rhonchi in the upper chest. What is the best next step in the management? The best next step will be oral corticosteroids, because the basic principles of the care we need to know. We have to assess the severity of the attack, use inhaled short-acting beta agonists early and frequently, and consider concomitant use of ipratropium for severe exacerbations. But we have to start systemic glucocorticoids if there is not an immediate and marked response to the inhaled short-acting beta agonist. Make frequent every 1 to 2 hours objective assessments of the response to therapy until definite sustained improvement is documented. Admit patients who do not respond well after 4 to 6 hours to a setting of high surveillance and care. So, the use of systemic corticosteroids is recommended early in the course of acute exacerbation in patients with an incomplete response to beta agonists. Oral administration is equivalent in efficacy to IV administration. Question number 11. 35-year-old male presents with cough, breathlessness, wheeze, and tightness in his chest. He states that all this started after 15 minutes of jogging. Which of the following should be obtained as a primary test to establish this patient's underlying diagnosis? So, the diagnosis for asthma or the obstructive or restrictive disease of the lung is through spirometry. So, the spirometry is the best option.